Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. So today we're going to talk about the K1 visa process.
Yeah, but so many people have been asking us on social media. I get the questions a lot more from people who are going through the process and people who are wondering about the process, and I just thought it's much easier for us to do a video instead of answering one person at a time, so that it's just easier for us. We can just refer them to the video.
So let's just make this clear. The K1 visa process can't be completed by one person or the other. It's a combination of you both have to work to complete it.
What does that mean?
Well, like you had to do your parts, I had to do my parts.
Yeah, you're talking about you had to apply.
Yeah, so, and let's just make this also clear. We are not lawyers. We are not immigration experts. This is just public information out there for you. The first step in the actual K1 visa process is filing the petition to bring your loved one to the United States.
That is a process that you had to do
Yes.
as the American.
So I had to petition the United States government saying, I love Akinyi and that we are in a bona fide relationship. Do you know what that means?
A legal, real.
Real, yeah.
Okay.
So that it's a genuine, bona fide. That's what the bona fide is. That's
Okay.
that we are.
It's not about bones.
It's not about bones, no. And a couple of things that are critical to that first petition is there's a few conditions. You have to have met each other.
So if we didn't meet each other, you wouldn't have been able to file.
That's correct.
Okay. So
Like if we had never met each other, we would not be able to file for the K1 visa.
Okay.
And now that I'm sitting here, that's the only condition of the K1 visa, is that you had to have met. You also have to meet a couple of other things, like you have to show that you're financially stable to have somebody come and live with you.
And if you're not financially stable?
Then you have to get a sponsor.
Oh, that's what I used to see in the show. Someone would, do we have a sponsor?
We do not have a sponsor.
Oh, we don't have a sponsor.
Those are a couple of the keys, and you have to provide proof of meeting and proof that you have a bona fide relationship. And for me, that was...
In case you're wondering why we look exhausted, if we look exhausted and if we look just like this, we're just from working out.
And it's been a long week.
Yeah, and it has been a long week, so that explains us right now.
So anyways, the K1 visa, you have to show proof of your relationship and proof that it's real. So for us, we did text messages, we did photos, and one of the really great things that or at least I believe was a great thing, is that I met Akinyi's family. It wasn't just that Akinyi and I had photos together, we had photos together with the whole family.
So that helped a lot.
It did, because it shows that we're not just saying something and we're keeping it between us two. Mm-hmm. It showed that we actually I met your parents, your sisters, your brother, and that we're not just trying to do something to get, into the country.
I think it's very important that if you're planning to go through the process and you have your significant other, even if you're a private person, try and take pictures together where you go. If you're eating out, take pictures together because they're important. The messages you send each other, archive them. Yeah, archive them, because we had to take so many screenshots of our messages, emails, because sometimes we would send each other emails if I didn't have enough
and I
bundles.
Even included packages that I sent to her and packages that she had sent to me. So
some of the like a Christmas present.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't know if all of those are important, but we know that meeting is important, and the way you communicate it is also very important.
And if you're in a real relationship, then you're gonna have these things.
But so I don't know, there's people who don't like pictures, babe. Like, just don't be surprised. But there's people who don't like pictures, and there's someone who will come to you and they'll be like, I don't like pictures. But if you're planning to be with someone, you're going to go to their country or they're going to come to your country, pictures are very important. You need to take pictures. And thankfully, Benjamin met a photographer, so we had to take pictures whether he liked it or not. Yeah, so anywhere we went, we would take pictures. So that's very important. Make sure you have, like, even if you feel like it's too much, it's never enough. It's never enough. Take a lot of pictures, and they are going to be good for you because you're going to be remembering.
And you have memories.
You'll have memories.
So the actual petition for the K1 visa is lengthy. I think it's many pages, and you just enter information upon information upon information. I had to have all of my family's information, so like my father, my mother, everything that has happened in our life, addresses, telephone numbers, email addresses, and then I actually had to have the same for Akinyi and her parents. So I had to have their date of birth, their address, how long they had lived there, where they had lived before, all of this. And I think I even needed to know where they worked.
Yeah.
We had to have all of this information to put together for the application.
It was a list of questions.
Yeah, and then
did they have to ask about my dad's place of work, or it was all about me?
So they asked about your work, they asked about your dad's work, mom's work. So everybody had to be listed out, and then
and I remember, I don't remember most because Benjamin he was asking me so many questions. So if he asks, I would answer what he's asking. So there's so many things that you're going to be asked.
Tell them about the address. So in Kenya, they don't have street addresses just labeled all over the place like in the United States. Like if you're driving down the street here, you see, house 1, house 2, house 3. In Kenya, you don't have house 1, house 2, house 3 on Main Street. You just have everybody's roads.
So we had, because I remember this one because we had to look for the plot number. So the place we live in is our piece of land. It's our house. That's in Kenya. And so every plot of land has a number. So we would look for, we had to look for the plot number, the area we were in.
And there was another subdivision also that we had to list.
So you have your location, sub-location, all of that, province. That is very important because they're going to ask all of that. Here's the thing, with the address, it's very complicated, especially if you come from a place that doesn't have addresses like America. So you will have to figure out how the addresses work.
Because we had to look at your title. You had to go to your mom and get the title, the deed, and look at the subdivision, the plot number, and then put that all together, and that's how we got your street address.
Yep, that's how we got it. So we had to go to the title deed, look at the plot number, and all of that stuff. So it was very, it was a lot of paperwork that we had to do.
So when you're thinking of starting your K1 journey, make sure that you've got the documents, because you're going to need all this information. And one of the things that I did is, as I collected all this information, I put it all into a folder, so that way it's all together and we have everything in one spot. After we filled that out and answered, 60 or 70 questions, it got mailed in. Once that got sent in, we just had to wait.
Wait, so you mailed it? Did you send it as an email, or you had to print?
No, I had to print it.
Oh.
And then I had to actually fill out what's called an electronic notification request form, which is in addition to the actual K1 visa. And it says that they can email me or text message me when they receive the document. And so I had to put that in with the actual K1 visa application, along with the check for processing fees, and seal it and mail it to the office directly. And then I got the notification that they had received it quite quickly. Like a text message came through, which I hear that doesn't happen all the time, but for me, it actually happened. I got that notification. And then I got a notification by mail shortly thereafter that it was received and it was in processing. Then it took, probably like 3 months for them to process it.
It was more than 3 months. Babe.
About 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 to 6 months it took to process the actual petition.
I mean, they say it's 3 to 6 months. So we were in that category of 3 to 6 months, but we're not exactly at 3 months.
Yeah. And so once they process it, then your package goes to the embassy for the next stage. So I got notification in the mail, and I didn't get it updated online. So as other people have mentioned, I had my notification that it was received, but I never received actual notification that it was accepted and approved until I got my letter in the mail. And once I got that, then
so the approval is for what? For us to move forward with the K1 visa?
That's correct. This is the approval that they did background checks on me, they did background checks on you, made sure that we were both, legitimate, and now it was to the embassy for them to interview you.
So after it's approved here, it is taken to the embassy
then
in
it gets
Kenya.
sent to the embassy in Kenya.
Oh, so to the American embassy in
Yes.
Kenya. Okay, makes sense now. Okay.
And so once it goes to the embassy in once it goes to the embassy in Kenya, you then have the interview and medical processing. What our expectation was that would take like 2 or 3 months once it got there. However, once it got there, it took forever.
A whole year.
It was a whole year
of waiting
before we actually got an appointment set up. And then that appointment was at the onset of COVID. Yeah. And we had to wait a whole another year. It just, once it got to the embassy, that was the slowest, and I got no responses. I applied for requests on information, requested updates, and just kept getting, a blanket answer. So we eventually had to get a congresswoman involved to help us move things forward, which thankfully she did that, and we were able to get our interview. I even went to the embassy on one of my trips to Kenya to find out what was going on.
So the second time Benjamin came to Kenya, the plan was he goes to the embassy and check what was going on, what was happening. And so we wake up very early in the morning, get dressed.
We did.
We walk very nicely to the embassy, and then we're just coming to check on the paperwork. And then they're like, well, you can't come without an appointment. And they sent us away because we did not have an appointment. And so what do they tell you? That you have to deal with that with the American people.
So they told me to email them, which I had been emailing them for 6 months already. So I was kind of flabbergasted and frustrated, and I was very disappointed that they were not willing to speak to me or even communicate. But eventually we did get notification for our interview, and it was rather short notice. We actually got notice that it was going to be like within 3 days.
So I think our process, it was more like prolonged because of the COVID. So yes. COVID played a whole lot in how the period of time that it took for us to be, it could be different. If you're going through this process, it could be different for you. It could be much faster, or it could be, waiting for a whole year. But you have to it's a very long, tedious, expensive process. You just
very expensive.
Go in it knowing that you're going to spend money, you're going to have to be patient, and
in my shoes, I would have liked to have been able to make more trips.
Yeah, and you're probably going to make more trips. And the more the trips, the more the money you spend. I mean, just think about it. I don't know how to just say it, but you need at least 2 trips, right? Or at least one.
You need at least one, but I mean, I would have liked to have been.
But when I was being asked the questions, so we are going to get to the part where now I go to the, what is it called?
To the embassy.
To the embassy. So I'm waiting for Benjamin to finish so that we are now going to the embassy with you.
So let's make this official. I'm finished.
Are you?
You're going to the embassy.
Okay.
You're going to the embassy.
Benjamin had to do the congresswoman, to call the congresswoman. And then he called, I don't know how many times. It was multiple times.
I was calling every week.
So the last time he actually called, they, like, everything just went like, whoop. We have an interview date. The interview, today is Sunday. Monday, no wait, it was on Friday. So we get the notification on Friday that we have an interview on Monday.
No, on Tuesday.
Wait, on Tuesday, yes. So now, on Friday, I have to go. No, on Saturday, I have to go and get my COVID test.
Mm-hmm.
But on Saturday, we had to pay for the what is it called? For the medical.
Yes. And all day Friday, we had to call and email the medical place.
Because they were not responding.
Because you only have one place that you can go to.
Yes. And if you miss it,
you don't get your interview.
Yes. And then you have to pay for it again. So Benjamin was, because I couldn't do anything, the only person who would be able to talk to them, because it's the American embassy in Kenya, it's Benjamin who is the American. So he was messaging them. Then finally on Monday morning,
I think finally I bothered them enough that all of a sudden we got a message, what would have been late in the day Friday, that you were given your appointment for Monday.
Yes.
And so it was, okay, you're set for Monday. Have a nice
Tuesday.
weekend.
I'm set for Tuesday.
And they didn't even say have a nice weekend.
Yes. So now the medical is supposed to be 1 week. When you're doing the medical checkup, it's supposed to be 1 week to your interview. So you can see how the rush was. So I have the one day, then the next day I'm supposed to go to my interview, and I have to have all the papers together. So now I had to, everywhere I was going, I had to tell them my interview is tomorrow so that they know. So now everywhere I would go, if it's a like a vaccination shot, I would tell them my interview is tomorrow. So they had to stamp this is an emergency, it needs to be out by tomorrow. So everywhere I would go, they had to make a stamp of it's an emergency. So
urgent.
Yes, it's urgent. And then everyone would write something there for tomorrow, for tomorrow, for tomorrow. So that really helped. You know, if it comes to a point where it is now a dire moment, you probably need to use your mouth, because if you don't speak, they will not know. And then you will have to wait for, for so many other days and pay again. So your mouth helps you. So don't be quiet in case it happens the way it happened to me. So, and then I finished the medical. It was, first of all, my arm was in pain because the medicines, it's like they find like a different place to inject the medicine, like the same arm, different places. Or so the last one I got in the opposite arm. The next morning when I woke up, I couldn't even do this. It was just like, wow, all these vaccines in one body. I could.
How many vaccines did you get?
Around 6 to 10. And that's not all of them. I didn't get all of them because they didn't have all of them there. So you could be, and we paid a lot. It was a lot of money for just the vaccines. I'm not going to lie. I was even surprised that that's how much we paid.
Do you know, I had to pay $700 for my yellow fever vaccine
to come to Kenya. Oof. Because it also depends on the medicine that they have at that particular time. It will determine how much you pay for. So it's a lot of money. So that's why I was saying that if you're going through this process, he should work, you should work to meet each other in the middle. But if you find someone who's very 100% very rich, you don't have to work, he will pay for everything. That's all I can say. When you go to the interview, so now we are done with the medical. When you go to the interview, my suggestion is dress smart casual, or you could just be smart, office look. I did smart casual. I had my jeans on, I had my sneakers, but I put on a coat. that was looking like an official coat. I did my hair slick on the back with the ponytail. I did some very simple earrings, and that was it. When I got there, most people were dressed smart or smart casual. You want to show them that you don't disrespect them. You're not coming there looking somehow. It's an office, so dress like an office. If you're going to use the Kenyan embassy, I would suggest wear a jacket, like a coat, like a blazer, because the building is a little bit cold, so you might need to have that in mind. Don't carry 2 phones. Don't carry headphones because they don't allow it. So I carried a headphone and I carried a tablet because I was like, let me go with this. It's going to be my source of entertainment when I'm waiting. When I got there, they were like, you can't get into the building with a headphone or a tablet. So I had to pay someone to hold on to them for me. And it was very hard to make that decision because I didn't know if they would be there once I come out. But there were those taxi people, so they were there. So don't carry headphones. Don't carry a tablet. Just carry your phone, because when you get there, they take your phone. So you are going to go and sit without a phone. So they will take your phone. They'll give you like those cards that they give you in exchange for your phone.
Okay.
So when you come back, you give them the card. They will give you back your phone. So the only thing you need to carry is your phone, and then all those papers, because even I had to print out all of my documents.
So I sent Akinyi a copy of our entire application, the petition.
So make sure you have a copy of everything. So everything that Benjamin had, I had a copy of, and I had to print them all out.
And then the embassy had a copy of that as well.
And the funny thing is that when I was there, they took all the papers.
Did they?
Yes, they took them and then they stamped. I don't have the papers.
Okay.
I have a little bit. I have just our pictures, and because I had each of the pictures, I did 2 copies. So they took the other copy and then they left me with.
Okay.
So I don't have the papers from they will take it. So you need to have the papers. And so now we get to the building. I have this stress where I have given out my tablet, I have given out my headphones. I don't know if I'm going to get them when I come out. But what I know is that this interview is important. If I miss it because of a tablet, everything we have done is down the drain. And so I go in, I sit. You're given a number when you get inside, and then they will call you by your name. So you have to sit and wait. So I was just sitting and waiting. It's a quiet place, and so you're thinking, am I going to be approved or not? That's all you're thinking, because sometimes you will see someone come out looking happy, and then sometimes you will see someone coming out looking like the world has come to an end. And when someone is looking like the world has come to an end, it means they were denied. So me, all I was doing is I was praying. Then we get to the interview. So they called my name. I get to the place where they're asking me questions. No, they didn't even ask me questions. They asked me my paper. And then they're going through the computer. They cannot find my papers anywhere in their computer. It has been erased.
And they said that all of our documents had been extended because some of the documents have expiration dates on them. But they said because of COVID, everything had been extended, which was not the case we found.
So because of the COVID, the extension, they could not find. It's supposed to be a period of 1 year. So if that 1 year ends, you have to reapply. And so because of COVID, thankfully, we didn't have to reapply, but they couldn't find our paperwork anywhere. So I had to call Benjamin in the middle of his night. Babe, they can't find our papers. Benjamin wakes up. Hey, what is wrong? Benjamin was worried. And then I tell him they can't find our papers. They're saying we need to reapply. It's kind of like we're reapplying for, again, another.
So then Akinyi had to go to a cyber cafe and actually do the document all over again.
Yes.
So she had to go through and answer all of the questions.
I had to retake the picture, the passport
input
picture.
The picture.
Yes.
Everything all over again.
All we're trying to say is don't just go empty-handed. Carry some extra money just in case you will need to be told to do anything.
Yeah.
And then I went back. Now we have reapplied. I go back again. And then she looks again at because they will give you a card that will say you are going to come back at this particular time. So I had like 1 hour of doing everything and then coming back. And then I go back. I know now everything is fine. She says again, there is no document in this. We don't even have a recollection of your name, his name, nothing. Hey, I called Benjamin again in the middle of his night. Hey, we need to reapply. And then I reapplied again. And then now this second time I went back again. And then I go back there. She can't find them again. So she had to go into their inside office. I don't know who she spoke to. But for me, what I did, I remember. When I was going into the places, I went into the toilet and I prayed. And I said, God, you're the one who's taking me on this journey. And this is your will. If it is your will, let it be done. And I sent out the angels and I said, angels, now go out and just make sure that everything is, is in order.
Amen.
In case you didn't know, we all have angels. You can send your angels to go and do something for you, just as long as it aligns with the will of God. And so after I prayed, I went back because I was tense. Can you imagine being sent back and forth? I was tense, I was worried, I just didn't know. Right now it sounds so funny, but at that particular moment, it was a very worrisome moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried. Benjamin couldn't go back to sleep. And this is the person who will sleep through an alarm. But that particular night, I called one. It was just going to, Benjamin is up, So we were both eager. And so after I went, as for me, I feel like it is a prayer that worked because God always hears our prayer. She went inside because she couldn't find the papers. So she had to go inside and go and talk to, I don't know who she spoke to. And then she came back and then she didn't even say anything to me. She just took up my papers and I was just so stamping. I was like, okay, that means it's a good thing. And then she was like, hold on. The person is supposed to ask questions who will be right with you. So now I had to wait for like 2 minutes for the person who is supposed to ask me questions. It was a lady. She seemed nice. And then she was asking me, she asked me questions like, how did you meet? When did he come? So you have to know how you met, when he came. They asked me your age, his age, when he was born, the month he was born. So these small things that you feel like are not important, you could be asked. I'm not saying you're going to be asked the same exact questions, but you need to know the dates and the days and all of those things.
And if you're in a real relationship, why wouldn't you know each other's birth dates?
So I knew his birthday, I knew the day he was born. If your significant other was once married, they will ask you, so you will have to answer. This is not a place where you're supposed to, what is it called? To give your version of the truth.
No.
Yes, give the truth.
You have to have full disclosure when you're going through this process.
So it doesn't matter if your significant other has the most shameful thing that we don't know that they have. But if they ask, just answer truthfully. Because chances are they know, they just want to confirm.
They do know.
Yes. So, they asked me when, if you were once married, if you had a child. They asked me the age of Grayson. They asked me his birth date. I'm telling you, they asked me all these things. They asked me if you are a big part of his life. All of those questions. So all these things that I didn't think that I would be asked, if I wasn't paying attention to what Benjamin was talking to me about when we were, together in Kenya and we were talking on the phone, then I wouldn't have the answers. So the way they ask is for them to know if you actually love this person and you pay attention to what they tell you. They ask the small little things that matter that you don't think they matter. So you should probably know so many things about your significant other. Make sure you carry the pictures because they're important. They're proof that you have met. If you have an engagement ring, it's very important you have it because they might ask you when you got engaged, where is your engagement, like what is the proof that you are engaged? Because if you don't have a picture proof, you must have this proof. So yeah, so that was it. And then after she was done asking me the questions, she gave me a green paper. In my head, I thought that was a green card. I honestly did. She gave me a green paper and then it was stamped. So I was like, sorry, I'm asking her, what is this? And then she's like, this means you're approved. I didn't even, because I had so much in my head from going back and coming. At this point, I was expecting anything. So she gives me the paper. I didn't even read the paper. I just asked her, what is this? And then she says, this means you've been approved. You're going to America. And I'm like, oh, thank you. That was my reaction. I wasn't even like, oh, thank you. I was like, oh, thank you. And then, so I asked her, is there anything else I'm supposed to do? She said, well, so you have to go with your passport. Please, hey, I forgot. When you're going for the interview, don't forget your passport. Don't forget your ID. Your ID is not even important. Your passport is what is important.
Because they're going to hold on to that.
Yes, because they will hold on to your passport. So make sure you carry your passport, because you will leave them with your passport. Then they will send it to a DHL place, because in Kenya they send it to a DHL place. That's when you have your stamp for the coming to America. And so the K1 visa, that's where they put your stamp on the K1 visa. And so they told me, your passport is remaining with us. I was like, well, I need my passport to go. And they were like, no, your passport is remaining with us. It will go to the DHL. And then I'm asking, do I need to pay for this DHL? No. It has been handled by the American embassy. Because I was thinking, well, they're sending it to DHL now. That again means I have to go and pay DHL again. So they were like, no, it's been paid by so you will just give them, they gave me two papers. There was one, the approval, and then the one for the DHL. And then I left the building and then I went. So this is what I did, because I had a very tiresome, stressful day. I got my tablet back from that guy because he was still there. I paid him the money that we had agreed for holding on to my tablet. I walked to a mall. I ordered fries and chicken. And I sat there and I ate and I took some water and I said, now let me call Benjamin. Because I was hungry. I don't even know what time of the day it was. I was super hungry. And
she decided to be a jokester.
Yeah, and I was like, babe, I have bad news. And I was like, what? Well, I've been approved. And I was like, oh my God. I was approved, babe. I was approved. And I called my mom. So I called Benjamin as the first person. Then I called my mom. Then I remember when this is the thing. When I wanted to pray about the paperwork not being found in their computers, I called my mom. I couldn't find her on the phone. I called my sister the first time. I couldn't get her on the phone. Then the second time I could get her on the phone. We prayed together. Then I said, again, I'm going to go to the toilet and finish this prayer again. And so, as for me, I feel like Benjamin is tired. Just yawn. As for me, I just feel like it's been God who has walked with us, who has been providing for us, who has been there for us. So, we just always say, if it was not for God, we would not be together. I don't know how
Praise be to God.
Yes, I don't know how it is for everyone else, but for us, we just always give the glory back to God. So in case you have any other questions, if we are able to answer, if they are legal questions, we probably will not be able to answer. We're just telling you this according to how it went for us.
And comment down below. We'll check out the comments, and maybe if we don't have an answer, somebody else will have an answer.
Yeah, somebody else will have an answer
back for you.
That's it, guys. That was our K1 visa process.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, and don't forget that God is good all the time. You can pray to Him in the toilet, and He will still answer you. It doesn't matter where.
Amen.
I just had to go to a toilet. where is the weirdest place you prayed?
Oh boy. In a fire?
In a fire?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
At a hotel that I was working at.
What were you telling God in that moment?
I was just praying, please don't let the place burn down. Don't let anybody get injured, and just give me courage. And
okay guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell notification button so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. And until next time, don't forget that God is good all the time, and all the time God is good, and that's his nature.
amen.
Bye.
Kwaheri.